Hey everybody, Callus here, back to narrate more Jimvitational. This is round 4 upper bracket, a wonderful place to be, meaning the loser here will not be eliminated, they'll just go to the lower bracket, but crucially the winner here will have yet another bye in the next round and will be just one match away from guaranteed money, which is a wonderful place to be. Today's combatants, Sadlysius, or Sadlysius, however you want to pronounce it, it's always been Sadlysius for me. Either way, hard-pressed to find a nicer or more well-liked guy in the ADV community. Humble, nice, very smart, respected by everybody, multiple-time SPL winner, and as far as a personal relationship between him and I, fun fact, he is the mastermind behind my trivia bot. I just do the stupid people part, which is write the questions and the answers, but the smart people part, the coding and the bug fixing and all that, that is all done by Sadlysius, and I compensate him for doing so. He's the man. Like I said, I don't know anybody who doesn't like this guy. Really smart, really good guy, and I'm happy that he's in the winner's bracket. On the other hand, the same way you'd be hard-pressed to find a nicer guy than Sadlysius, you would be hard-pressed to find a younger guy than Fruhdazi. At the time of this recording, I have confirmation he is in fact 11 years old. But fortunately, Jimothy Cool and I were able to talk to his middle school teacher, and she did, wowed by his accent, give us the approval for Fruhdazi to play this match on recess, in recess. So hopefully he did not load up stall, might not have time for that, but we can bang out a couple quick ones during that time with her blessing. So I appreciate Mrs. Smith for that. Now, as far as these guys as players, Sadly I think was a fairly narrow player for a lot of years, but has really picked it up and diversified himself. Last year he was in Callus Invitational 7 play-ins, won that, and then went all the way main event. He came one game away from winning money, which is really impressive. Made a really deep run after winning play-ins, has really stepped it up as a player. Fruhdazi, on the other hand, I feel like I haven't seen in a while. I've been a little bit out of the loop. It was one of the best ladderers of recent times. And the Fruhdazi that I remember from about a year ago, very, very aggro-minded, has a hard-on for Skarmory arrow kind of teams, aggressive Celebes, that kind of stuff. And he pretty much spammed that kind of team over and over and over again, didn't really have any interest in diversifying. Whether that's still the case today, we're about to find out, but you guys complain that my intros are too long. You're probably right. Let's get into the game. We are still in the best of 3 stages of the tournament. Here we go. Sadly's on the bottom, and Fruhdazi, that is Shitrock Enjoyer, is on the top. Usually Zapdos stays in against Metagross, whether it is to sub or to T-Wave or even just to baton pass out, but notably he switches out rather than BPs out, which I find interesting. Nevertheless, Magneton does trap Skarmory after one layer of spikes, gets the kill with Thunderbolt. Looking at probably some kind of physical offense for Sadly when you see Meta Mag, that's probably what we're looking at here. T-Tyre has lefties, as does Meta, and he's going to keep it in to eat the mash rather than switch to Zapdos. I find that a little bit curious. I feel like Zapdos would have been a fairly safe switch there, but he sees it differently. Gonna let his Rachi eat an EQ after Fire Punch came down, did 50%, but he's at 55, so he's probably gonna survive. And he does, and he's gonna go for Boom, so it's all just a trade, but that's fine. Trading 1 for 1 when you're ahead, obviously a good thing. You stay ahead. And we've got ourselves a quick game. Maybe my long intros are gonna actually be longer than game 1 at the rate that we're going here. Sadly, if he has the good EVs, 12 EVs on a Snorlax will make you faster than a paralyzed Aerodactyl. But he doesn't actually go for Body Slam here. He's going to go for Shadow Ball, which is a 2-hit KO. And he's going to let that happen as well. Fruhdazi doesn't seem all that concerned about the whole his Pokemon fainting thing. 4 of them have done so just on turn 10. And there's another boosted Shadow Ball. Neutral damage to both the Arrow and the Zapdos. 38%. Thunderbolt knocks out the Lax, but the Mon's advantage still belonging to Sadly. 3-2 at the moment with unreveals for both players. Zap on Zap violence. T-Wave, sure. Obviously Fruhdazi now with the faster Zapdos, but we'll see if he can capitalize. Those Thunderbolts are underwhelming at just 30%, and with the help of the Sand, That Zapdos for Fruhdazi is going to go down as well. And just like that, on turn 15, he's down to just one Pokemon. And if Sadly had HP Grass, he doesn't get to do it there thanks to a full para. But Suicune, certainly, unless it gets frozen here, which it does, of course, should be able to handle Swampert. That could be the break that Fruhdazi needs. If it never thaws, maybe, just maybe, he can get there. He can kill the paralyzed Zapdos with Ice Beam if he can get up enough curses, or if he's advantageous enough against the last poke from Sadly, which we currently don't know. Maybe, just maybe, that freeze can get him there. He thaws, but does he thaw in time? Hydro Pump and EQ. EQ is lethal. So what is the last poke? Marowak. That should be able to survive an Ice Beam here. And it does. Critical hit or freeze would have been necessary there. Neither one comes. Marowak obviously going to be faster when the Swampert is giving itself minus speed with those curses. And as such, sadly, barely is going to hang on and take game one. Like I said, Zapdos there, because it is paralyzed, would have been toasted by an Ice Beam had it come back in. So it strictly came down to the 1v1 here between the Marowak and the Swampert. Pretty quick game. Fruhdazi played that whole game like a man who really wasn't all concerned with the whole defense thing or the whole Pokemon fainting thing. Was pretty content all game long to just go blow for blow, and to be fair, with the aid of a little bit of luck, that freeze, he did have a chance in the end for that to work out. Like I said, that one turn at the end, if he had found a crit or a freeze, he would have gotten it done. But sadly, he's going to hang on, and he's going to be up 1-0 in this best-of-3 series. I'll go over here real quick. I don't want to spend too much time because I know the intro was long. I just want to remind you guys real quick, my YouTube channel, youtube.com, Callus Narrates. That's going to be in the description. Also, consider hitting the like and subscribe button to support Jim and the crew and Revival tournaments. Win-win for everybody. Also, consider donating to the tour. That is via PayPal donation link. Every penny really does matter, so if you've got the means, we would appreciate that as well. Back to the action. Sadly and Fruhdazi, like I said, loser is not eliminated. They simply go down to the lower bracket. Here is game 2. Sadly can win either this game or the next to earn that bye, and Fruhdazi is going to need 2 in a row. So Zapdos, again, this time the advantage is with Sadly, who leads T-Tar. Going to scare away the Zapdos, of course, and he's going to go for immediate DD as Skarm comes in. Going to stay in, of course, in case he gets roared out, which he does. 48% is the chip damage before he gets removed. And spikes do come down in the face of Metagross, but Moltres, of course, is going to scare the Skarmory out. Ends up being T-Tar, which is interesting because that could have switched in just now to a Will-O-Wisp, but why Will-O-Wisp them when you could Flamethrower them and get the burn? That's even better. Might be a Pursuitar here if it came in not afraid at all of a potential Will-O-Wisp. That would be my guess. It's not Lum and it comes into a WoW user, probably a Pursuitar. We end up with Jolteon on Zapdos, Volt Absorb activating there to undo the spikes damage. Jolteon back up to a hundo. Pretty aggressive team once again for Sadly. And we don't know what Zapdos wanted to do there. Full para kicking in. Relatively even game state, perhaps slight advantage for Sadly. Certainly another full para there. Not what Fruhdazi wanted to see, and I think Sadly gaining small advantages as we trickle on here. Finally, Zapdos gets to do something, and lucky for Sadly, that never landed on Jolteon. It would have really crippled it, but it is in fact Thunder Wave, and it's going to paralyze the T-Tar lead from Sadly. Swampert comes in to check it, but he backs off just in case. That double switch Tarachi was to scout an HP Grass, but regrettably, he's going to find an Earthquake instead. However, 50-50 Dynamic Punch does cooperate. Huge damage on the 4X weakness. Unfortunately, even through power and confusion, he gets the lethal Earthquake off, and Sadly is once again on the board first in what is now a 6-5 situation. Last poke for both Gengar and Salamence, both revealed. Ice Punch 20% there. I would operate that this is a Pursuitar if I'm Sadly. I would stay in here. He disagrees, and we'll never know. Pursuit did not come down, and he does just use his fodder there. So it leaves us in a 5-5 situation. Here comes Cloyster, feeling relatively safe thanks to the burn. Surf there. He's going to outspeed him and kill him. T-Tar drops for Fruhdazi as Sadly takes the lead, 5-4. Intimidate doesn't matter there. Here comes Molt. That's got to be Hidden Power Grass. obviously not HP flying there. We're looking at a mixed Mance. And that's got to be Hidden Power Ice, which is very rare for Moltres. It is almost always Hidden Power Grass if it carries Hidden Power at all. But he's going to catch him off guard with the outspeed and the one-hit KO. And despite the fact that Moltres drops after, the damage is very much done. Salamon's dead, Swampert poisoned. Wow, and an HP Grass from Cloyster. Look at all these funky hidden powers employed by Sadlysius. And they're working. Fruhdazi is very much on the ropes here. There's the KO on Swampert, leaving him with only 2 Pokemon, one of which is the paralyzed Zapdos. Going to be a difficult game for Fruhdazi to find a way to win. Drill Peck does remove Cloyster, but man, how do you beat Jolteon now? I think the answer is you don't. It would kill the Skarm here, and then, yeah, he's just going to concede. There's no way out. You can't switch to Zapdos. If you stay in, you die. The Jolteon would then Thunderbolt the Zapdos, even if it survives, and then T-Waves the Jolteon, and it never, ever, ever makes a move again, and you kill it. Even then, Gengar would come in, outspeed the paralyzed Zapdos, Ice Punch it, Thunderbolt it, whatever, and finish it off. So that was not a premature concession. There was no way out of that. Pretty quick series. 21 and 23 turns respectively. So the whole series, sub 50 turns. And it's a pretty clean victory for Sadlysius. 2-0 here, has really been dominating this tournament, and he's going to earn himself a second bye of the tournament and put himself in the exact same position that he put himself in last year, which is he only needs to win one more match to be guaranteed money in this tour. He came up so damn close last year, just short. He had 2 opportunities to win 1 game and get there and did not manage to do so. Maybe this year it'll be different. He is damn close. But until then, we're off to the next video. So like I said, like and subscribe if you've been enjoying the content. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next video.